If you are watching this video with a hot cup of tea in your hand right now, don't panic. I'm not here to tell you that 1 or 2 cups will destroy your life. But we do need to talk honestly about what happens when just 1 cup slowly becomes 5, 6, or 8 cups every single day without you even noticing. Tea is a beautiful part of culture in many countries. It's how we wake up, how we relax, how we talk to friends, how families connect, and how we take a quick break in the middle of a stressful day. But like almost everything in life, when you cross a certain line, the same drink that feels comforting can quietly start harming your body and mind. Most people have no idea how much caffeine they actually drink in a day, or how many times they reach for tea just because they are bored, stressed, or emotionally drained. You don't count the cups. You just refill the mug, and little by little, your chai habit or tea addiction begins to shape your sleep, your mood, your digestion, your teeth, your nutrient levels, and even your heart rate. Moderate tea drinking is generally considered safe for most healthy adults, and it can even provide antioxidants and a gentle boost in alertness. But studies suggest that when you start drinking large amounts of caffeinated tea every day, especially more than 4 or so cups, the risk of side effects like anxiety, poor sleep, headaches, digestive issues, and dependence goes up, mainly because of caffeine and certain plant compounds like tannins found in tea. Imagine a normal day in your life. You wake up feeling a bit lazy, so the first thought is, let me make tea. You have 1 cup in the morning. Then another with breakfast because it tastes good. Then one more when you sit down to work because you want to feel more focused. After lunch you feel sleepy, so what do? Another cup. In the evening, friends or family come over, and of course there is tea again. And then at night you want to relax, so you drink just 1 more while watching something on your phone. Individually, none of these cups feel dangerous, but by the end of the day, your caffeine intake might be much higher than you realize. Your brain and body don't just ignore that. Caffeine is a stimulant. It tells your nervous system to wake up, to be alert, to keep going, and in small amounts, that can feel great. But as the amount increases, your heart can start beating faster. Your hands may feel shaky, your mind may become restless, and your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep can be badly affected. Research shows that high caffeine intake can cause symptoms like jitteriness, anxiety, irritability, and insomnia, and that even caffeine consumed earlier in the day can still reduce sleep quality at night, especially deep restorative sleep. Wikipedia +1. This means you might be stuck in a cycle where you sleep poorly because of too much tea, then wake up tired and drink even more tea just to function. And the loop continues. Think about those nights when you lie in bed. Lights off, eyes open, your brain running at full speed, even though your body is exhausted. You turn from one side to the other. You check your phone, you open social media, and you keep thinking, why can't I sleep? In many cases, it isn't just overthinking or stress. It's your caffeine level still high enough to block the chemicals in your brain that make you feel sleepy. You might not connect your insomnia with tea because tea feels lighter than coffee. But remember that tea still contains caffeine and other stimulating compounds. And if you drink strong tea or large amounts, your total caffeine load can be significant. For people who already struggle with anxiety or panic, too much caffeine from tea can make the nervous system even more sensitive, making the heart pound faster, the chest feel tight, and the mind jump from thought to thought. Over time, this can make you feel like your mind is never calm. You're always slightly wired, slightly on edge, and you keep reaching for more tea to feel normal, not realizing that the drink itself is part of the problem. Now let's move from your brain to your stomach. Many people think of tea as light and gentle for digestion. But that's not always true, especially in large amounts or on an empty stomach. Tea contains tannins, a type of plant compound that gives tea its slightly bitter taste and some of its antioxidant properties. But tannins can also irritate the digestive system in some people. Health sources note that in higher amounts, tannins may cause symptoms like nausea, stomach ache, or even constipation and indigestion in sensitive individuals. Medicover if you are the type who drinks strong tea first thing in the morning without eating anything, or you have multiple cups through the day without proper meals. Your stomach lining is getting repeatedly exposed to these compounds and to caffeine, which can increase stomach acid. This combination can lead to acidity, burning in the chest, discomfort in the upper abdomen, or a heavy feeling after drinking tea, especially black tea taken on an empty stomach. The times of you might not think tea is to blame because you've been drinking it for years. But your body's tolerance can change over time, and as your quantity goes up, so does the impact. Another silent effect of too much tea is on nutrient absorption, especially iron. Many teas are rich in polyphenols and tannins, and while those can have beneficial antioxidant roles, they can also bind to non-heme iron, the form of iron found in plant foods, and reduce how well your body absorbs it from meals, particularly if you drink tea with or immediately after food. Wikipedia +1 if your diet is already low in iron, or you are a woman with heavy periods, or you follow a vegetarian or vegan diet. This constant blocking of iron absorption can slowly push you toward iron deficiency. That can show up as fatigue, weakness, pale skin, hair thinning, and shortness of breath on exertion. Most people in this situation do not suspect tea. They blame their job, their age, or the weather, while continuing to drink large quantities every day with meals. It doesn't mean tea is evil, but it does mean timing and quantity matter much more than people realize. Simply shifting tea away from main meals and reducing how many cups you drink can help protect your iron levels, especially if your doctor has ever told you that your iron is low. We also have to talk about your heart and blood pressure. For many healthy people, moderate tea intake does not cause serious heart problems, and in some cases, overall tea consumption might be linked with small benefits for cardiovascular health due to antioxidants. But again, when the amount becomes large and the caffeine builds up, it's a different story. High caffeine intake can temporarily increase heart rate and blood pressure, especially in people who are sensitive or who already have cardiovascular issues. Very well, you might notice episodes where your heart suddenly beats harder or faster after a few strong cups of tea, or you feel a bit dizzy, shaky, or sweaty. Some people experience palpitations and think they are having a serious heart attack, when in reality, their nervous system is overstimulated by caffeine. This doesn't mean you should ignore these sensations, chest discomfort, or severe palpitations always deserve medical attention. But it does mean you should at least be honest about how much tea and caffeine you're actually consuming. When you talk to a doctor, your teeth are another place where daily heavy tea drinking leaves its signature. Tea naturally contains pigments that can stick to tooth enamel over time, especially when consumed multiple times a day, leading to yellow or brownish staining. This is more of a cosmetic issue than a life-threatening one, but for many people it affects their confidence. They wonder why their teeth look dull or stained even though they don't smoke. And the answer might be 3, 4, or 6 cups of tea daily. Good dental hygiene and professional cleaning can help, but so can reducing how often your teeth are bathed in tea throughout the day. Rinsing your mouth with water afterwards, or drinking through a straw to reduce direct contact. Again, tea itself is not the enemy, but the pattern of constant exposure is. One of the most overlooked issues with too much tea is dependency. If you feel like you cannot fully wake up without tea, cannot work without it, cannot talk to people without it, and you get headaches, irritability, or brain fog when you don't drink it, you may have quietly built a caffeine dependency. Caffeineism, or chronic overconsumption of caffeine, has been associated with symptoms like nervousness, restlessness, insomnia, headaches, and rapid heartbeats. This doesn't mean you are a bad person or addicted in a dramatic sense, but it does mean your brain has adapted to having caffeine present, and when it's suddenly removed, you feel worse. Not because your natural state is horrible, but because your body is used to being artificially stimulated. When you then drink tea, you don't actually feel super good. You just feel relief from withdrawal. That's why many people say, "I feel like a zombie without my tea." It's not magic. It's dependency. On top of all that, certain extreme cases show that very high tea consumption over a long period can even affect organs like the kidneys, especially when the intake of compounds like oxalates becomes huge. Though these situations are rare and usually involve massive amounts of strong tea or concentrated extracts, not casual moderate drinking. Wikipedia +1 still, they remind us that even natural drinks are not harmless if taken way beyond normal limits. And we haven't even talked about what happens when people mix tea with lots of sugar, sweetened condensed milk, or ultra-sweet flavors. In that case, the problem is not only caffeine, but also added sugar, which can increase the risk of weight gain, insulin resistance, and dental problems over time, especially when several sweetened cups are drunk each day. The times if so, you end up in a situation where the drink that you think is keeping you slim and energized may be quietly contributing to belly fat, unstable energy, and long-term metabolic issues if most cups are loaded with sugar. Now, if you are listening to all this and starting to feel scared, take a breath. The goal of this video is not to make you hate tea or feel guilty for enjoying it. Tea has been part of human culture for centuries, and when used wisely, it can be a pleasant, even beneficial part of your day. The real goal is to break the illusion that more is always better, or that natural things can be used with no limits. For many people, staying around a few cups of tea a day and avoiding ultra-strong brewing is unlikely to cause major harm, especially if they are otherwise healthy and not overly sensitive to caffeine. But the exact safe amount can vary depending on your body, your age, your health conditions, and what other sources of caffeine you consume, like coffee, cola, or energy drinks. Some health sources mention that regularly drinking more than about 4 cups of black tea per day may increase the risk of caffeine-related side effects. So if you are far above that level, it's a sign to reflect on your habits and maybe cut back slowly. If you are pregnant, have heart problems, anxiety disorders, iron deficiency, kidney disease, or are on medications, you should be even more careful and talk to your doctor about how much tea and caffeine is safe for you personally. Because in those cases, the margin for error can be smaller. So what can you actually do if you realize you drink too much tea? You don't need to throw away every cup and go zero tea overnight unless your doctor specifically tells you to. For most people, a more realistic and sustainable approach is to slowly reduce the number of cups per day and the strength of each cup so your body can adjust. You might start by noticing which cups are truly necessary and which are just out of habit or boredom. Maybe the early morning tea stays, but the late night tea goes. Maybe you replace 1 or 2 cups with herbal, caffeine-free infusions like chamomile, peppermint, or rooibos, especially in the evening, so your nervous system has time to calm down before sleep. You can also move your tea away from main meals by an hour or 2 to protect iron absorption if that is a concern. These small adjustments don't destroy your love for tea. They simply stop tea from quietly controlling you. Most importantly, this video is an invitation to be honest with yourself. It's easy to say, "I only drink a little," but if you actually counted every cup in a day, would that still be true? It's easy to blame stress, work, age, or bad luck for why you feel tired, anxious, sleepless, or low on energy. But sometimes the answer is sitting right in your hand in the form of a mug you refill every 2 hours. You deserve a life where your habits support your health instead of slowly draining it. You deserve deep sleep, calm focus, steady energy, and a body that doesn't feel like it's running on fumes and stimulants all the time. And you can still keep tea in your life. It's just in a healthier role. If you found yourself in this story, let this video be your wake-up call. Not to demonize tea, but to finally respect your body. Take a moment after this video ends. Think about how many cups you actually drink, how you feel when you skip tea, how you sleep at night, how your stomach feels, how your heart beats after strong chai, and whether your comfort drink has quietly become your silent boss. Then decide, will you keep living on autopilot, or will you take back control of your daily habits 1 cup at a time? And of course, remember, this video is information, not personal medical advice. If you have strong symptoms like chest pain, severe palpitations, extreme anxiety, very poor sleep, or signs of anemia like extreme fatigue and breathlessness, please talk to a health professional. Your life and health are bigger than any drink, and no habit, not even tea, is worth sacrificing them for.